Everyone's talking about Qingqiao, but the character I'm much more excited for is Jingran. After looking at his current beta kit, he honestly feels like one of the most unique Fusion DPS characters Wuthering Waves has released so far. What makes him even crazier is that he scales from max HP, gain bonus healing, and converts his HP into additional attack and fusion damage, making him much tankier than most DPS characters while still hitting incredibly hard. So in this video we are going to talk about his kit briefly and his rotation, his best weapons, echo builds, team compositions, whether his signature weapon is actually necessary, and most importantly, if Jingran is really worth pulling for in version 3.6. If you are planning to save for Jingran, make sure to like the video and subscribe, and now let's get started. Jingran is a 5-star fusion broadblade resonator and is expected to release in the second half of version 3.6, which should arrive around September 9th. Just remember that his kit is still in beta, so some details may change before release. Jingran is built around a unique dual-state system. Let's just call his two forms Yin and Yang. He begins combat in Yang, and he can switch between the two states by using special heavy attacks. His entire playstyle revolves around managing these two states, building his Chi, which is his forte that has a maximum number of 300 points, and timing his heavy attacks properly. This Chi forte bar can be filled by performing basic attack stage 3 and 4 in any of the two modes, resonance skill, intro skill, liberation, and lastly his special heavy attacks. In both states, his normal attack consists of 4 hits, and the third and fourth hits count as heavy attack damage while generating 50 Chi for each usage. If you have 300 points of Forte already, you can then unleash your special enhanced heavy attack while consuming all the accumulated Chi. By doing so, Jingran will swap modes into either Yin or Yang state. Jingran also scales heavily with max HP. He gains bonus attack based on his max HP, and although his base defense is fixed at a very low number, he compensates for it by receiving increased healing bonus. The higher the maximum HP, the more heal he will get. And then for his resonance skill, it could also generate more Chi as well as dealing heavy attack damage. While in Yin or Yang state, all you have to do is press resonance skill and then followed by press or holding basic attack. This way, his resonance skill will be enhanced to deal heavy attack damage, while also generates 100 points of Chi. And let's not forget about his liberation that plays important role to his kit. This damage will be considered as heavy attack damage, restores 100 Chi, and while doing so, if his HP is above 50%, then it will get reduced by half to let him enter a special state. This state allows him to immediately restore 200 points of Chi after you consume and unleash his special heavy attack. That way, performing the next special heavy attack will be easier. Casting this heavy attack while in this state also lets Jingran to summon his comrade to help deal fusion damage to enemies that will be considered as heavy attack damage. Jingran has particularly strong synergy with shield focused teams because when he performs outro, he gains some point of buff. With condition, other member must require shield. This buff will be converted into fusion damage bonus, whose number will get even higher the more he has max HP, once he enters the combat via his intro skill. Speaking of shields, since he has a low number of defense, he will generate his own shield every time he attacks, thanks to one of his talents. So I think his rotation will be intro first, and then immediately use his liberation. Once you get 300 points of Chi, unleash the special heavy attack. Now you will consume 300 but immediately get a cashback of 200 points. Use resonance skill followed by basic attack to immediately generate 100 points of Chi, cast special heavy attack again, repeat that resonance skill again and then heavy attack again, and for the last combo, perform a full complete of basic attack, and then to finish off, use your last heavy attack. Now let's talk about his best weapons. His signature weapon is obviously his best in-slot option. It provides 72% HP as its substat. The passive itself will grant him increased all attribute damage bonus by 12%, grants Nature's Order and Cradle of Life stacks whenever he casts intro skill or gains a shield. The shield triggered effect can occur once every 0.5 seconds. Both effects can stack up to 6 times, with each stack lasting 7 seconds. Nature's Order increased fusion damage bonus by 10% per stack, up to 60%, while Cradle of Life is consumed when casting heavy attacks, consuming up to 2 stacks. Each consumed stack allows heavy attack damage to ignore 15% of the target's defense, up to a maximum of 30% defense ignore, lasting for 2 seconds. For the 5-star alternatives, Jian's signature weapon is excellent choice. It provides 48% crit damage, 12% all attribute damage bonus, additional 24% heavy attack damage bonus every time you use intro or liberation, and this heavy attack amp is stackable up to 2 times. So everything is perfect and will benefit Jingran's performance, except this weapon does not have any HP increase, which is where Jingran's self-attack and fusion damage boost comes from. Other than this, Augusta's signature fit him surprisingly well. It has only around 12% crit rate, but after he performs intro skill or resonance skill, he will get that 20% heavy attack damage increase, followed by a heavy attack defense ignore if he obtains shields. Combine this weapon with his best in slot echo, you already gain around 32% crit rate. As for the F2P alternative, I think it's just decent. The Lustrous Razor only gives you energy and crit rate, which is fine for character building, but for maximizing Jingran's own kit, I think this Broadblade is meh. If you want to pull Jingran, you might as well prepare for his signature. Right now, his weapon option is not F2P friendly. And now let's talk about his echo sets. I think some of his good pick will be either his best in slot, which is Lamp of Netherroad, or Crown of Valor, which is Augusta's set. For Lamp of Netherroad, the 2-piece will give 10% HP, which is very rewarding for Jingran, and then after you complete the 5 pieces and activate its passive, it will give you bonus crit rate by 20% in total, if you obtain shield. And then when the max tax is reached, you will be rewarded by a 15% fusion damage bonus. The Crown of Valor will also give Jingran extra reward in the form of 20% crit damage if he can generate a shield. Since this set only has 3 pieces, you might want to combine this with 2 pieces of Nether Lamp to gain that 10% HP. For the Echo Formations and its main stat, since he's built very similar like Cartesia, where both of their signature offers HP on their stats instead of any crits, I think we might want to use 4-4-1-1-1 or even use only 4 costs and then the rest is 1 costs. You might want to use crit damage on his 4 costs to ensure that he balances out his HP stats in his build. I think we don't have to really worry about his crit rate stats. Any Resonator has a base of 5% crit, assuming you have crit rate on every cost, let's say around 7.5%, it already gives you 42.5%. Jingran has additional 8% crit rate from his small traces and it already gives you 50.5% crit. He gets another 20% from Lamp Nether set. If you think this is still lacking, Shorekeeper can help him gain another 12.5%. So with all of that combined, his total crit rate when in the battlefield is already 83%. So that's why I think using crit damage on 4 costs is more than enough to let him deal consistent damage. And then since Jingran wants that 50k HP to get the max number of attack and fusion buff, we want to use 4 1 costs of HP. This may be hard to farm because Tested Field often won't drop 1 cost echo, or when they do, it's only a small number compared to 3 cost echoes. As for substats, you might want to prioritize crit damage, HP and crit rate. Energy is good if you happen to have one, but the important stats are those 3. So Jingran may be very hard to build, he has crit issues and a very high amount of HP stats, and to gain that, you must farm 1 cost echo, which is, for me personally, it's not that easy. And then he is very dependent on his signature to gain that massive HP boost. Okay, now let's talk about his team composition. Before we talk about his crit issues and how Shorekeeper will help to fix this makes his best and premium team consist of Jingran himself as the main carry, dealing most of his damage through heavy attacks. His HP scaling and self-shielding make him surprisingly durable, and his fusion damage benefits enormously from the buffs his teammates provide. Yuno is the perfect sub DPS and buffer for this setup. Her outro skill provides a massive 50% heavy attack damage amplification for 10 seconds, directly boosting Jingran's primary damage source. Inside her full moon domain, Jingran's self-generated shields also help build up to 40% all damage amp, giving him even stronger damage window during his field time. You can also give Yuno Moonlight as her echo sets to give Jingran more impactful performance. Shorekeeper completes the team by providing consistent healing, and one of her passive ensures that the active character won't immediately knock down in case they receive fatal blow from enemy. And of course, Shorekeeper can provide your allies with 15% damage amp together with some extra crit rate and crit damage buff, in which really helps Jingran performance throughout the battle. As for the other team options, thankfully Jingran is a fusion unit, so you could also try replacing Yuno with Lupa and Shorekeeper with Mornay. Or you could try using the other version of Monofusion, which is using Brand as the sustain. Take note that you must perform quick swapping while using this team, otherwise it's going to interrupt or slow down Jingran's rotation. As for the free-to-play team, I think using Mortefi as the second slot is viable as well, and Verena as a sustain. But using this team will make the total damage output from the team lowered, since Jingran only benefit from Mortefi heavy attack amp and Verena's damage amp. No one will generate a shield to give him more fusion bonus, or even dealing a respectable amount of damage to contribute more to the team's damage. You can also use Rebecca to replace Mortefi, but you can expect a slow build-up buff when using her. The point is, using Yuno and Shorekeeper is more recommended. They are both old unit anyways, so probably most of players already have them. Overall, Jingran is a character that has huge self-buff in the form of massive attack and fusion damage bonus. But to gain that, you must stack as many HP as possible, which is accessible mainly from his signature weapon. Other than that Birthblade, other options are not capable to offer a high percentage of HP, despite some of them still usable for him because of the heavy attack amplification and heavy attack defense ignore. So it is safe to assume that Jingran weapon option is very limited. So it is recommended if you want to pull him in the future, you might want to consider pulling his signature as well. But on the bright side, his team composition is mostly older unit. Someone like Yuno and Shorekeeper, they both already been out for a long time, so I guess most of the players already have them in their account. As for newer players, it is the time to get both of these units. Not specifically for Jingran, but they both really have long-term value in your account. So in this time around, if you don't even have Yuno and you really want to pull Jingran and care a lot about the meta, then I suggest you to wait for Yuno's rerun when her banner is on release. Using Jingran, Mortefi, and Shorekeeper are still viable to clear endgame, especially when the endgame itself is Jingran's shield. Jingran does not belong to negative status, tune shifting, or echo damage, so once his banner duration is over, I think he's going to have a hard time to get a shield endgame. But to upgrade his team and even double his damage for the long run, you might want to pull Yuno. So if you don't have Yuno and are planning to pull for him, like 100% sure, you have to take note that Yuno is your next goal for your account. As for the time being, he might still survive without Yuno, but definitely won't survive without his signature. So Jingran's plus sign with Mortefi and Shorekeeper still might survive shield endgame. So I guess that's all for Jingran character analysis and builds. I hope this video is useful for future Jingran mains out there. So tell me, are you going to pull for him once his banner releases? How far is your preparation you have now for him? Please tell me in the comment section. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. Turn on notification as well so you won't be missing out on any of my Wuthering Waves content. I will see you guys on my next one. Bye bye!